All right, Shalom. I would like to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS who rule well. And also honor and salutations to you other brothers that are out there teaching the word in sincerity and truth, and that make up the hopeful elect. All right, so today I wanted to talk about, I want to, touch on for a second time something that we talked about at camp yesterday, which was how these people they hate GMS, and they go about speaking whatever they speak against the elder apostles, against the men that are underneath the elder apostles, and they just downright don't like GMS. They don't like what we do. They don't like what we about. And I started to think about it. What makes why what for what, and of course there's a couple different things that it could be. People get butt hurt from people saying things to them, or they may not have the status that they want, or they might want to bring something out a certain way, and because of the order they're not I don't want to say not allowed to, but it's told or said that there's an order to being able to bring things out, and they might want to do it in their own time, right? So there's a few different things, but the bottom line is through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, we are the light. GMS is the light that is shining throughout the whole world. You can say what you want to say about us, right? But everybody knows about the Israelite thing because of GMS. Okay, because of the elder apostles coming out in 2007 and posting their work on YouTube. That's why, and I say that, right? When you had Nate, and you had I there was this other guy that I used to watch, Yah King was their channel name, and there were other Israelite groups on YouTube before the elder apostles got on YouTube, but it was very it wasn't as broad as it is today. It didn't have as far a reach as it does today, due to what the elder apostles have done, right? So when even in that, when the elder apostles came out in 2007, even the guys that you saw that were out there before them had to pick up the slack, or not pick up the slack, but had to pick up the pace to keep up with what the elder apostles were doing. You had Nate, he'll do a 5-minute show and then tell you got to go to the website and purchase the rest of the breakdown, and the elders were just putting out content free of charge, videos for days. I mean, I remember, that first few months to a year. I mean, or I'll say first few months, where that first channel, that first Great Millstone channel, there was over 900 some odd videos on the channel and counting. So you could never watch all of them, and I would stay up till 5 o'clock in the morning some nights, just watching videos, and that light that the elder apostles put forth on the earth, it was bright. And what happens with bright light, you get to see things get exposed for what they are, and that's why they don't like GMS, because that light, what it does is it shows what type of person you are in the dark. It exposes those insecurities that you have. It exposes those youthful lusts that you have, right? So because of that light being shined on the earth, now you can't hide. There is no hiding. So they distance themselves from us, if you will, so that they don't have to feel the pressure of that light or feel the exposure of that light. Okay. So I got a couple of scriptures here that I wanted to go into. Lord's will, I'll be able to get to all of them. But I wanted to start with I think it's okay. Yeah, I'll start there. This is John 1:7. Okay. This is John 1:7. It says, the same came for you know what, I should start at 6. Let's jump up a little bit. There was a man sent from the Most High whose name was John. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. He was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light. That was the true light, which lighteth every man that cometh into the world. You see, so that the Lord Yahushua is the light, man. And just like he exposed the men or the Pharisees and Sadducees of that time and the scribes of that time, he put the Spirit on us to do the same thing in this time. And they hate it, man. They want to continue in the way that they've always been when they were in the world. Right? That same old nigger spirit that they had in the world, just being black in the world, they want to keep that same mentality, right? They want to stay in that dark, but the light is exposing them, man. And they can't stand it, right? So to show you that, we too are the light, I wanted to go to the scripture here. I think it's, do I have it there? 23, 34. I want to show you this real quick. This is the Lord Yahushua speaking. It says, this is Matthew 23:34. Wherefore, behold, I send unto you prophets and wise men and scribes, and some of them ye shall kill and crucify, and some of them shall ye scourge in your synagogues and persecute them from city to city. Right. So just like he was that light, he put the light in men that he was gonna send in this world today. Okay. So our job is to do the same thing that the Lord Yahushua did when he was here, calling people out on their bullshit, right? Rebuking people, exhorting people. That's what the light does. The light shines, and the roaches scurry, man. Okay, so I got this article I'm gonna read real quick. It's about roaches, and then I got a couple more scriptures that I want to go to show, they hated Yahushua because he was taking something from them, man. He was exposing them for what they were, and he was taking their status, man, that they had become accustomed to. Okay, so let me I want to go to this article real quick. So it says why roaches hate light, how to use light to repel roaches. Okay, so it says roaches are known to hide in the darkest corners of the house, and they scurry off when you shine a light onto them. But why do they do this? Are they afraid of the light, or do they just hate it? Read on to find out why roaches hate light, and if you can use electricity to protect your home against them. Alright, so let me come down here. It says roaches are nocturnal. Roaches are not really afraid of light. In fact, a lot of them just don't like bright things because of how they live. Most roach species are nocturnal. According to Health Clover, these insects are dormant during daytime and they're only active for about 4 hours at night. They will not go out looking for food unless they absolutely need to. So from a biological standpoint, roaches are most comfortable living in the darkness it's only natural for these insects to scatter when there's light on them. You see? And that's these people that so-called I left GMS, or why I left GMS and you should too, and blase, whatever they say, right? They're roaches, man. The light got shined on them, and they scurried on underneath the damn cabinet somewhere, or underneath a rock some goddamn where. These people, they take on the same mentality as a roach. They want to be lazy. Look, they said the roaches, they're dormant during the day, and when they do come out at night, it's only for about 4 hours. See, the roaches, they're lazy, and they don't want the light on them, man. And that's the same mentality that these Negroes have, man. These niggas have, man. They got the same mentality as a roach. They're lazy. They don't want to do nothing. Okay? They don't want that light on them. That heat. Okay? It says they avoid light for survival. Avoiding bright areas in a territory can be the difference between life and death for a cockroach. It's all about stealth and being inconspicuous, right? They want to stay in hiding, right? They don't want to be shown who they really are. They don't want the mirror to be held up to their face, if you will, right? It says, if you view roaches' aversion to light from a practical point of view, you'll realize that they've evolved to look at this light as some kind of danger or warning, and that's what light is. Light is a warning. That's then the Lord to come to warn of the coming of his Father. And likewise, don't we go out there to warn you of the coming of the Father? Ba'ashem Yahushua. You see? So they mention here about some roaches that like light. I don't want to be unfair, right? But here's some other, a little bit more. It says, using light to repel roaches. Yes, you can actually use good old electricity to ward off most roaches. All you have to do is put them in the right places. It is possible. However, it comes with a lot of disadvantages, and not to mention only a small possibility of ever being effective. What some homeowners do is install light strips inside their kitchen cabinets or cupboards to keep skipped up on me. To keep them lit. You can also have your lights turned on overnight to discourage roaches from coming out to forage. But using this much power, most probably. All right, so this is just saying. It says yeah, so that's pretty much it. The point was made right there. I thought that was a cool analogy to go into. All right, so I got some more scriptures, and then I'll get out of your way. So this is Job 24:12. Okay, it says, men groan from out of the city, and the soul of the wounded crieth out, yet the Most High layeth not folly to them. They are those that rebel against the light. They know not the ways thereof, nor abide in the paths thereof. The murderer, rising with the light, killeth the poor and needy, and in the night is as a thief. The eye also of the adulterer waiteth for the twilight, saying, no eye shall see me, and in disguise of his face. In the dark they dig through houses, which they had marked for themselves in the daytime. They know not the light. For the morning is to them even as the shadow of death. If one know them, they are in the terrors of the shadow of death. You see? So they don't like the light because they want to do their dirt, man. They want to continue in their wickedness. They want to continue in being that same nigga they was in the world, man. And this is why they don't like the light. Okay? So I wanted to go into some examples, right, of the way the apostles and men of the Lord carried themselves, and how it made the people angry. That light right, being brought into the world made people angry. Okay, so this is Acts 19:23. Okay, so this is the story of Paul. You know, he, of course, he went through his ministries, or his missionaries, I should say, and he came to Ephesus, where they highly worship Diana. Okay, so this is the story that ensued. Right, this is Acts 19:23. It says, in the same time there arose no small stir about that way. Okay, for a certain man named Demetrius, a silversmith, which made silver shrines for Diana, brought no small gain unto the craftsmen. Right, whom he called together with the workmen of like occupation, and said, Sirs, ye know that by this craft we have our wealth. Moreover, ye see and hear that not alone at Ephesus, but almost throughout all Asia, this Paul hath persuaded and turned away much people, saying that they be no gods which are made with hands. Right. So he shed a light on that. There was a situation amongst the land, in the world, where people were making idols and worshiping those idols. And Paul did what? He shed light on it and let people know that what? Those weren't gods. Okay? So that not only this our craft is in danger to be set at naught, but also that the temple of the great goddess Diana should be despised, and her magnificence should be destroyed, whom all Asia in the world worshipeth. Okay? He said, it says, and when they heard these things, they were full of wrath, and cried out, saying, Great is Diana of the Ephesians. Right, so they fought tooth and nail to keep their way, man. And if you read this whole chapter, there was a big riot that broke out because of this thing, man. They were fighting tooth and nail to keep the way that they always knew. That same nigga they was in the world. They fought to keep that way. But what did the Apostle Paul do? He shed light on that way to let the people know that that wasn't the way to be, man. That wasn't the way to go. And that's what we're doing. Okay? So this is Matthew. I want to go back to 23, but I wanted to go back up to the top and read a little bit of it, right? Because the scribes and Pharisees, right? Their thing was the status, right? They had status, so they would make these long prayers. They wear these fancy garments. They would, tell people about the law and how you should keep the law and all these different things, right? But the Lord Yahushua came and shed light on them and let it be known that they're only doing this as a show, man. They're doing this to make people feel like they're somebody so they can keep that status. And they hated the fact that Yahushua exposed it, man. And for no other reason but to maintain who they were to the people. Because he wasn't teaching anything wrong. If anything, they should have been happy that the rest of the nation of Israel could be brought back in, right? Or that the standard was being changed, and that you should believe in faith and not the burden of the law. They should have been happy, because it's if all you had to do was believe on the Lord Yahushua, principally it's a simpler thing. You don't have to bog yourself down with burdens that even the fathers of old couldn't keep, right? So they should have been happy about that. But because their status was being removed away, they didn't like it, right? So I want to read a little bit of this. It's Matthew 23. It says, Then spake Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, The scribes and Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do. But do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. So here this is the Lord Yahushua. Look, he's saying, look, the scribes and the Pharisees, they're telling you to do the right things. So all the things that they tell you to do them. Right? But he had to shed a light on them, right? Why? Because they were telling the people to do things that they themselves wouldn't do. You see? He shed the light on that. Right? It says, But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries, and enlarge the borders of their garments, and love the uppermost rooms at feasts, and the chief seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the markets, and to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi. But be not ye called Rabbi, for one is your master, even Hamashiach, and all ye are brethren. And call no man your father upon earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven. Neither be ye called masters, for one is your master, even Hamashiach. But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant. And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. You see? So they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to humble themselves. They didn't want to be abased. So they had to, what did they want to do? They wanted to shut that man up, man. They wanted to shut him up because he was shedding the light on who they were, man. Okay? And so listen to what he says. He says, but woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men, for ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayer. Therefore ye shall receive the greater damnation. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, ye make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. Woe unto you, ye blind, which say, whosoever shall swear by the temple, it is nothing. But whosoever shall swear by the gold of the temple, he is a debtor. Ye fools and blind, for whether is greater, the gold or the temple that sanctifieth the gold? And whosoever shall swear by the altar, it is nothing, but whosoever sweareth by the gift that is upon it, he is guilty. Ye fools and blind, for whether is greater, the gift or the altar that sanctifieth the gift? Whoso therefore shall swear by the altar sweareth by it, and by all things thereon. Thereon. And whoso shall swear by the temple sweareth by it, and by him that dwelleth therein. And he that swear by heaven sweareth by the throne of the Most High, and by him that sitteth thereon. Right? So he goes into further, shed some light on the way their behavior was, and that way wasn't the right way. Okay? So what did they do, right? If you read in the chapter before this, which I'll go to a little bit of it. What is it? 22:15. Right? So here's what they did, right? Okay. It says, this is Matthew 22:15. It says, then went the Pharisees and took counsel how they might entangle him in his talk. Right? And ain't that thing? Oh, GMS is confounded. GMS has been confounded. GMS is finished. Right? They try to trap us up into things that we say. Right? That's where this whole rape thing came about. Trying to entangle us in our speech. Right? So it says, and they sent out unto him their disciples with the Herodians, saying, Master, we know that thou art true, and teachest the way of the Most High in truth. Neither carest thou for any man, for thou regardest not the person of men. Tell us therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? Right? So it says, but Yahushua perceived their wickedness and said, why tempt ye me, ye hypocrites? So he knew what they were trying to do, in other words, right? So that's it, man. That's all I had. Hopefully the point was made. A man who doesn't like to be rebuked, a man that doesn't like to receive exhortation, a man that doesn't like having this or can't deal with those things and having their feelings hurt, they don't like the light, man, because the light exposes who you are. Right? It shows you the things that you need to work on so that you can indeed work on them, man. Okay? So hopefully the point was made. I was kind of all over the place, but hopefully again I made the point. I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elder apostles at GMS who rule well, and also honor and salutation to you other brothers that are out there who make up the elect. And with that, I say shalom.